Q&A video where we are going to answer all of your burning questions, right?
Yep.
So if you are ready to hear the answers to everything you've been wanting to know, stay tuned. Okay guys, so I have Ronnie's phone here, and it has all of the questions that you guys left us in that video that we asked for all the call of questions. So we're going to get started. Can you unlock it? It locked. And we're just going to go, not in any particular order. I was just going to go from top to bottom, okay? And a lot of the questions, as you can imagine, are redundant and duplicate. So I'm going to skip them if we've already answered them, okay? So should we just jump right on in hot with the first question?
Who's this? Am I out?
No, I'm recording.
Oh. Oh, you asking me?
Yeah, so we're just going to jump right on in with the question. So the first one is probably the most asked question. Will you and Ronnie get remarried? So you want to answer that, or we both can answer it, but you can go first if you want.
Yes, we will.
Okay, so his answer was yes. My answer is yes as well. We don't really have any specifics, but we're also not rushing anything just because I feel like we've kind of already been there. Maybe there's more desire to do it quickly when you haven't experienced it yet, but we have. So, I mean, we've talked about it amongst ourselves, and it's something that we are going to do and we will do. As far as when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, we really don't know. Well, he had some ideas as to how it should happen, but we don't know. Do you want to share it? Or?
Well, I thought we'd do like a vacation or something, like just pretty much our immediate family, and just pretty much redo it like that.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you guys heard him because I was talking to, sorry about that, but he was saying that his idea was just to have like a vacation for immediate family, and then to just like have a small quick ceremony there, and of course with our daughter as well. So that's his idea. We haven't really put a lot of thought and planning into it, but we have talked about it, and we have decided that it is something that we will do in the future. The next question is remarriage. We answered that. How/why did you rekindle? I'm loving every minute of your decision, whatever the answer may be. So I guess we already answered the remarriage. She was asking, are we going to get remarried? So that answer is yes. How and why did you guys rekindle?
I'm interested to hear your answer.
Okay, so the how is, so my perspective is we started hanging out and spending a lot of time together without the pressure of the marriage or being in a committed relationship. We were just hanging out and doing fun things together, talking on the phone and going to dinner and just hanging out on the weekends and stuff like that. And that kind of turned into more frequent times of us spending together and stuff like that. As far as the why, I think that the time we took apart, even though for some it's not like a long time, it wasn't years upon years, but the time we took apart, I think that we really did some soul searching, and we really grew up about a lot of things. Like we had to put our big girl and big boy pants on and look at things from a different perspective and be more understanding with each other. And so I think that opened the door for us to be able to be willing to spend more time together and, developed a new relationship out of that. It closed down. But that's my, take on it. So I can't speak for him.
Yeah, pretty much the same. We always, even when we wasn't together since we were kids, always found a way to keep in contact with each other, communicate with each other. Mm-hmm. So that was one of them, and I think we was vacationing, like she said, hanging out and stuff like that. So I guess it all just fell into place after that.
Yeah.
That's a short answer.
And for those of you who are new and who have not been following us for a long time, Ronnie and I met each other in high school at 16. We started dating. We got married at 26. And then 5 years later, we got a divorce. And then after the divorce, about a year and a half later, we were dating again. And then we ended up pregnant with our baby girl, Reagan. And then here we are today. She is 7 months. Okay, so for the next one, it says, y'all should have a virtual wedding so we can be a part of it if you and Ronnie get remarried. That wasn't a question, but that's funny. How did your families respond after you and Ronnie reunited? So I'll go first. My family was fine. Again, like, we have been dating since we were kids, essentially 16 years old. So it's like he's part of, my family and I'm part of his. So there was no problem with that. Actually, both of our families were kind of hurt by the divorce. So I'll let you answer that. How did your family respond?
She pretty much answered that, but I think something I probably would note on that, as a piece of advice, or I don't know how you take it, but just for how I live my life, in my relationships, it doesn't matter how anybody responds to it because it's my relationship. So whether or not somebody have some disagreements with it or anything like that, I really don't let it bother me or dictate my decision because I feel like once a man and a woman have an understanding between each other, it doesn't matter what the outside say. And a lot of times most people won't understand two other people's relationship anyway, and may have something negative to say about it, may have something positive to say about it, but if those two people are on the same page, that should matter, whether it's family, friends, or whoever.
Right. And just another thing that we have learned just over the years is just to be careful what you share and how you share it with your close family and friends, just because even though you may come to a decision in which you're ready to move past it and you're ready to work through it, or you've made the decision that you want to do that, everybody doesn't process things the same. And when people are in protective mode over you because they love you, sometimes it's harder for them to erase their memory of things. So just be mindful of that as well. The next question is, be truthful. Have you guys remarried and haven't told the fam/us yet? So that answer, we kind of already answered that, but no, we have not remarried. We're not married. Right? Okay. Why doesn't Ronnie talk or smile? He seems like he has a great personality. Y'all, if y'all could be a fly on the wall around here, okay? You can answer that though.
I mean, I do. I'm just not.
He's getting used to being in front of the camera. Blessings, you guys. I'm just happy that God put you two back together and bless you with Reagan. I believe there's a marriage in the near future and one more child, but I'll wait. Okay, the next question is, are you two looking forward to having more children? I'll let you answer that first.
Yeah, at least one at the minimum.
I'm coming around to the idea. You guys know I had an emergency C-section with Ray, and I'm still scarred by that experience. And also, we're not really spring chickens, we're mid-30s. So I'm coming around to it, but I'm not 100% there yet, but we are in talks about it. How did we reunite? I've already answered that. In my eyes, you're a winning couple. It seems like you've known each other a long time, ups, downs, highs, and lows. What advice would you give thriving couples? #Black Love, praying so many blessings. Blessings your way. So the question is, what advice would you give thriving couples? He kind of touched on it, but just have a mutual understanding. Make sure that you guys are, like they say, like equally yoked as far as what's important to you, your goals, your aspirations, your dreams, your religion, your family plans. All of that stuff has to be in line, or needs to be in line early on. And then just be patient and understanding. I think that's something that we learn, I'm learning every day. You have to be patient with people, you have to be understanding, and you have to be able to put yourself in their shoes, even if it's not your situation. So nobody is perfect. We all have our flaws. So you have to be patient and understanding with each other.
Yeah, I say exactly what you said. Also, know your role in a relationship. Know what's the word I'm looking for? Know the strengths and the weaknesses of each person. In the biblical sense, remember that the man is always the head. So it's the man job to guide the relationship in the right direction, period.
Like you set the tone.
So that means it's a lot involved. That'll be like a long conversation, but even if you're not spiritual, just as a man, period. If you're in any type of relationship, you should always set the tone and be the head of the relationship. Which means if she's emotional, you try not to be as emotional. You know, you try to help her or compensate her emotions, and vice versa. Like it's a lot going into that I can go into a lot of detail about, but just to clean it up and just make sure you're the man, make sure you guide the relationship, make sure you guide the relationship in the right direction, and everything else will just fall in place after that.
And also, don't set yourself up to believe that everything is always going to be 50-50 all the time, because that's a setup. It's not.
Right.
The next question is, are you two waiting to have a big wedding after COVID is over with? Do you want to have any more kids? And for me, do I still do client houses as far as the interior decorating? So for the first one, are we waiting to have a big wedding after COVID? We kind of touched on that before, but the answer is no. If you guys don't know, we did a big wedding back in 2013 when we got married the first time, and yeah, I'm over that, been there, done that. I don't want a big wedding at all. Do you guys want to have more kids? We already answered that. And do I still do client houses? I do them. I'm just starting to get back out and feel comfortable in clients' houses. And right now, the clients that I am working with, like they're personal clients that I know and have a relationship with already outside of, the professional setting. But I did shut down everything for COVID because it was very scary and I wasn't comfortable going into people's houses. And then also being a new mom and, working multiple jobs on top of doing the interior design and decorating work, it got to be a bit much, and I wanted to spend time with my baby and raise my baby. So I don't do it as much anymore, but I am starting to do it again. Okay, will you be doing the My Labor and Delivery Story video and how you found out you were pregnant video? I still have that footage. The problem with that video, and I still have like our family's initial reaction and then my best friend's initial reactions when we told them. The problem with that, or the hold up with that video, is us finding time to sit down and like tell our story on how we found out, because I don't have that already recorded, but I do still have the footage from when we told, his parents and his sister and, my family. We told them on Christmas, if you, don't remember the story that we told you guys during the vlog, but we told them on Christmas. And then I told my group of girlfriends when we had our annual My Favorite Things sleepover. So I do have that footage of their reactions. We just need to sit down and film the, story about how we found out together, which shouldn't take us long, but we just have to find the time. Like, y'all, life be happening. So that will be coming if you guys are interested in still seeing it. Like I said, she's 7 months now, so but I do still have that footage. So what was the cause for the divorce? What made Ronnie realize he made a huge mistake and wanted his lady back? Love you guys' love story journey. Stay blessed. So we got divorced, and I've actually never shared the personal reasons why I decided I wanted a divorce, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't shared his reasons for why, he wanted the divorce, because he is not really on YouTube that much independently. But I'm not comfortable with saying the specific reason, but I will say that the speculation about infidelity or domestic violence, all that stuff, no, it wasn't any of those reasons. It was a very specific reason for me, and I will say that the time apart that we both took allowed me to think about it differently and be more open and understanding about it. And I think that the time he took apart obviously changed some of his habits and, the way he looked at things, because we don't really struggle with those same issues today. So I'll say that. But it wasn't like what a lot of people were thinking. It wasn't that. You have what made Ronnie realize he made a mistake and wanted his lady back? What was the cause for the divorce? But I touched on that.
No.
I mean, you can answer that if you want, but.
Well, I think the cause was to elaborate on what she said. I won't go in detail either because it's personal reasons and stuff like that. But the key point that I put on it is, like she said, we've known each other since we was 16 years old. Mm-hmm. So I would say immaturity is a huge thing that played inside of it, and what I brought up earlier, not knowing our roles, because we started so young. So we didn't have that type of understanding or development yet to even know in my person opinion of how to even create a relationship. We just knew that we loved each other and we wanted to be with each other. Outside of that, we didn't know how to really create a relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah, so we bumped heads a lot on a lot of things.
Right. So yeah, what made me think I want my lady back? I guess a broader answer to that would be that whether or not my Antoinette on good terms or bad terms, I will always have Antoinette around. Mm-hmm. So I guess I would say my lady would never have left because she's like the only person in this world that I really confide in, to be honest with you. So I guess that's my answer as far as that. As far as us like coming back to be in relationship wise, I think that was probably just God's plan, and I just leave that at that answer.
Okay, so the next question is, so I was wondering, was it Ronnie that came back after the divorce? Only because I remember how you were during that time. I don't know if it was one person over the other that like came back after the divorce, but I will say that he is very good at, when we did separate, keeping the line or working hard to keep the lines of communication open. Like for me, like I'm a Scorpio, so once I get upset, like I shut down and that's it. I don't talk to you, like nothing. But after a while, he's the type of person where he's like, okay, well, either, you know, let's put it out on the table and get past it, or let's get past it, basically. Those are the only two options. So, you know, he could call a million times and I not answer, but he gonna call again, and eventually, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it was one person over the other that was coming back. I just think that he was not willing to allow us to never communicate again. So, would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, how have both of you changed for the better in your new relationship? We kind of touched on this with the other questions, but I guess I'll go first. I feel like we both grew up and we matured about a lot of stuff. And for us, I think we realized that it's about the team. It's about both of us, the success of both of us together as one. And so it's not keeping, you know, score or tally or anything like that. And it's not that we should be looking at each other as, you know, each other's enemies or each other's critics. Like, we're a team and we need to, you know, put in effort for the betterment of the team. So I feel like that has taken us a long way, and parenting will definitely test your teamwork skills. Like, there's no time for it to be about like, it's about us as a family, us as a unit, and what you can do to help that unit. Like, so I feel like that putting that extra responsibility and that pressure on us was really good for testing how much we've matured and how far we've come, you know, since the divorce as well. And then I also feel like we're both more understanding, and like we can communicate and just talk more. And so we also deal with conflict a little bit different. Like, you know, we'll, you know, exchange words about whatever it is, and then if it is not the time for both of us to come to a resolution on it, then it's not a bunch of arguing and back and forth. It's okay, we're going to table this and we will come back to it when both of us like have a clear head and are more willing to discuss it. Now, it doesn't always go that seamless, and some people don't ever remember to come back to it. But for the most part, that is like how we try to combat our differences now, versus before it was just like argument city all the time. I'll let you go ahead. How have you both changed for the better in your relationship?
Go back to the same word, maturity. Just growing up, like learning yourself. That's a key thing to me about being in a relationship anyway, and that helps with changing and being better with yourself. Learning yourself, knowing who you are, what you want, and how you want to proceed with things in life is a key thing before dealing with anybody in any type of relationship. I think friendship or personal or relationship wise, man, it's like know yourself. That way you could know your strengths and your weaknesses, and you can know how to handle the next person better. Because if you know yourself well, you should be knowing where you're gonna bump heads at with a person, and when you're not gonna bump heads at with a person. And also, as far as in a relationship, know the person that you're in a relationship is just as well as you know yourself. Like, me and her known each other since we were 16 years old. I know what buttons, if I wanted to push them and what buttons I don't want to push my internet and stuff like that. I know how to motivate her and everything. Just because I know her as a woman, and I've known her since she was a young lady, and I've seen her grow into a woman. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's did I answer the question?
How have we changed for the better? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think knowing yourself and knowing the person that you with, and also having good morals and principles as well.
And respect is a big thing too. Yeah. And also for me, I know speaking for myself, individual therapy really helped. Because I am a person where I need to talk things through, and he is not that type of person. And so that allowed me that avenue to really get things off my chest and just really, clear my mind and clear my heart, clear my head. And now we've come to an agreement where he understands me more, I understand him more. And so he will give me that opportunity to talk, through things way more than before. And then I also understand that that's not normally, his way of dealing with things. So I have to understand that as well. And we have to find like a common middle ground on that. How did you feel after going through emotionally and moving and setting up house and then have him return in your life again initially? Were you receptive to rekindling in the beginning? So I wasn't receptive to rekindling in the beginning because it was too fresh, and obviously I was hurt and I was upset, and it just like I said, going back to it, like I'm a Scorpio, so once I shut down, that's it. But it was a good thing that he is the opposite of that, and he's like, we could get past anything, we can talk through things and get past it. How did you feel after going through emotionally and moving and setting up house? So a lot of what you guys don't know is there was a period of months where we really didn't talk, but it wasn't like a period of years of us not talking. So we were always in communications with each other. Even when I purchased my townhouse, we weren't speaking then, but I think it was like months before he came over and he saw it. There was also a time where he was considering buying a property, and I was going on, house tours with him to help him look for, properties as well. So it wasn't like we were never speaking or we weren't on decent terms during the entire time, that we were separated. So it wasn't like after I've put in all this work, after all these years, here you come back. Like he was there. It was just that we weren't married and we were in a committed relationship with each other, and we weren't actively working towards that at the time. Ronnie, you're a new father. Let us know a few things you plan to teach your beautiful Reagan growing into an amazing young lady.
Oh, I'll be here all day. Spiritual, I want her to be devoted to God. That's number one. Mm-hmm. Education, man, so much, man. Mm-hmm. Just pretty much everything that I feel like I missed from when I was a child, and also just to develop her into a good woman. But it's so much, man. It's just like so much. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna go into it all because we need to do a race segment of development.
Like a Parenthood Q&A. Yeah. Did Reagan make your relationship stronger?
I would say so. Because after watching her give birth to Ray, that gave me a whole newfound respect for the internet. So
it was really scary. Y'all, we still had that filmed our birth story. Like, it was a lot. And then during COVID and not having the support of our close family and friends with us, and just us two there by ourselves with the newborn baby, new parents, it was a lot. So, and it was a lot on him because, like I said, I had to have an emergency C-section. So I was out for the count the entire time we were at the hospital and when we came home. Right. So he really had to step up and show out, and he did. I definitely think it made our relationship stronger. It also tested some of probably the weaker points in our relationship and made us kind of reinforce those areas because we don't have an option. We live alone with her here. Our family and friends are close by, but for the most part, the day-to-day, it's us three. And so we have to rely on each other and depend on each other for a lot. And we have to look out for each other. And, Ray can't do things for herself, obviously being an infant. So it's our responsibility, and we take that responsibility very, very seriously. So I kind of touched on this already. Did your family have a hard time letting Ronnie back into the nest? No. What are your top 3 relationship goals for yourself and each other? Has becoming a parent changed your views on how your relationship should be? We've already touched on that. What are your goals as a family of 3 now? So, I mean, I'll go first. My goals as a family of 3, or our goals, is just to focus on spending time together as much time as possible, especially during this pandemic, which is crazy. Nobody could, predict that this was, going to happen when it did. But just spending a lot of quality time together, because when they say kids grow up really fast, they're not lying. Like, she's already 7 months, and it seems like I just had her 2 months ago. So spending a lot of quality time, making memories. Like, I'm a picture person. I'm an experience person. I like all the feels. So some people may say it's over the top, but for me, it's building memories. I had a good childhood, so I want to create that for my family and for my child. And so I want us to go on vacations together. I want us to teach her things. I want us to instill values and principles in her, and for us to just have that open-ended relationship, that two-way relationship, where she can come to either one of us or both of us with anything, and we can sit down and have a conversation with her as she grows. And I want us to just experience the highs of life together, honestly. We recently moved into what we like to call our dream house, our forever home. And so, we checked that off our list. We're, going through and finishing that, renovating and making changes to that. So we're good on that front. Financially, we're solid. It's just that I want us to focus on spending time together as a family, and raising our daughter. And if there are kids in the future, then obviously doing the same thing with them as well, because this time is very critical and it's very important. Like, this is the foundation for her, and I want it to be a positive one, and I want her to have a great childhood. And so it's up to him and I. It's not up to anybody else. It's up to him and I to provide that for her. And so we have to be on the same page. And then also, just for us as a couple, just to redefine the terms of our relationship and understand that parenting is great, and it's a hat that we wear, but we also have to feed our relationship and spend time one-on-one. And that's where the getaways and the vacations, and then just going out to lunch or going out to dinner, just spending time together, that's where that comes in. Because before, I think we had an understanding that as long as we lived together, that meant we were spending time together, and that's totally different. So, and we definitely have different love languages as well. So, I mean, I could go on and on about this for a long time, but it's just about understanding that you have to continuously feed the relationship. And so I want us to continue to do that. And then, yeah, so I pretty much answered it. You can go ahead.
I think you answered it.
Okay. Are you going to name your son Ronnie Jr.? No.
No.
Okay.
It'll be Ronnie the third.
No, it will not be Ronnie the third. Okay. If you guys go back, Ronnie changed Ray's middle name at 10th hour, and I really wanted her middle name to be something else, and he was adamant about that. And I told y'all, if we ever had a little boy, we were going to come up with a name together that we both liked, or I was naming him myself. That's it on that. Okay, we can move on. Buttons, what's your best piece of relationship advice to women in a new marriage? And Ronnie, what's your best piece of advice to men in a new marriage that could possibly help them when life gets really real and the honeymoon stage subdues? For me, would be to never stop dating each other. Because I know as a woman, that is important. Like, never stop dating each other. And I'm not saying you have to spend a lot of money or anything like that, but that makes us want to keep fighting, even if we've had bad days. Like, it makes us feel appreciated. It makes us feel wanted and loved. And, that's what we fell in love with in the beginning. Like, the effort and the time that we were putting into not just you or I, but us together. So my advice is to work really hard at never stopping dating each other. Even if you as the woman have to come up with a plan or come up with a suggestion or whatever the case may be, it's worth putting in that investment.
My advice would be pretty much what I already said. You the head, stay strong. You want to dictate the relationship. If you fold, don't expect her not to fold. If you argue all the time, don't expect her not to argue all the time. If you're emotional about certain things, don't expect her not to be emotional about certain things. So just stay strong. Remember, you the head. You kind of, I don't want to say, I don't want all the women to get on me like I'm trying to say men control a woman. But what I'm trying to say is, all right, yeah, from the standpoint of the Bible or just being a man per se, period, is that you're the lead. So whatever happens in the front of the line is going to go back to the back of the line. Mm-hmm. So staying strong and try to determine the direction that you want your marriage to go into.
Hey Buttons, I really don't have any questions now because I'm pretty sure all the ones that I had will surely be asked. I just wish all the best for you and Ronnie. It's said that love is better the second time around. Is baby girl going to be a flower girl?
Yeah, that's what I want to wait till she walk in.
I have no question. Loving the intro. Great job. Continue to be a blessing to one another and Reagan. So I just recently worked on the intro and the outro for the channel videos. So that's what she's talking about. Thank you so much. Has Ronnie ever messed up a project in the house? Because you seem to have some anxiety when he does something around the house. Yes, okay. And I won't say he like messed up stuff, but he used to have this mentality that it's good enough, it's okay, like let me just rush through it because I don't really feel like doing it and it's good. And I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my home and how things look because I'm just into home decor and design and stuff like that and decorating. So it used to burn me up. For me, it was cheaper to just pay somebody and love it versus have to, you know, argue with him to get him to do it over and over 3 times before it's actually done right. But now, since we moved in, even since the townhouse, like, he really be taking his time and doing really good. He's painting the entire house of this house. We're working on redoing the, you know, stairwells, the railings, and he's doing an excellent job. So now I have definitely more confidence in his work because I think now he has an eye for it and he knows like what I am going for and the look I am going for. So he takes his time with it now. So yeah, but before he didn't want to do it, he would just hurry up and then it'd be a mess, okay?
In my opinion, I did not mess up. The thing is, Antoinette is very precise, is the word I'm using right now, for what she wants. So if you put a nail hole an inch to the left too far, then she's going to sit there and cry about it and argue down about it. So I have learned to, before I do anything, make her place her finger exactly what she wants and just do it from there.
Measure twice. Cut once, y'all.
Instead of, you know, but yeah.
He ain't got time for the BS now. Like, he'd be like, where do you want me to put this nail? Okay, God bless you all, Ronnie, Antoinette, and Reagan as a family, whatever God holds in your future together. Thank you. No shade buttons, laugh aloud. But I want to know who Ronnie thinks Reagan looks like. Also, let's see y'all baby pictures because I know who's mean mug baby girl wearing, laugh out loud. Also to both of you, how your relationship had changed since you reunited. We've already answered that, but who do you think Reagan looks like?
That's my twin.
He thinks that they're twins. I'll keep my comments to myself. And baby pictures. Maybe in a vlog I will share some of our baby pictures so that you guys can see. But ironically, I have a few baby pictures that Ray actually looks like me too. So we'll see. Question number 2, what is the master bedroom plans? I'm a home decor lover too. You guys, I have big plans for our master bedroom. If you guys don't know, go back and watch our empty house tour for this house. It's a large bedroom and then there's a large sitting area as well. So I have big plans for it. We want to have a built-in built with like an electric fireplace insert, you know, underneath the TV. And we want to have the master bathroom done. I am looking at a really nice acrylic canopy bed with the acrylic, you know, posters. But we haven't purchased anything for the master bedroom yet, although we both, you know, agree that we deserve new furniture because we really don't have any furniture. There's no nightstands in there. We have a dresser that was in the guest room. And then we don't even have like a headboard or anything on our bed. So we do agree that we deserve nice bedroom furniture for the master, but we're trying to get the main level of the house completed first because that's where we entertain, that's where our guests are all the time, and we spend a lot of time on this level of the house. So I don't actually have an actual like plan or e-design yet for it, but I just know certain features that I want, and I want it to be like a grand hotel retreat for us. So stay tuned, it'll be coming. When it does happen, of course, I'll film the entire process for you guys. I would like to hear how God restored, rekindled you back together, which I'm so happy to see you together. and with Precious Reagan as an added blessing. We've already touched on that. Has having a child affected your intimacy with Ronnie or your drive in general? I would say, like, definitely in the beginning when I first had her, my drive was like non-existent. Like, again, I had an emergency C-section. Like, I was physically like just out of commission, mentally, like I was out of commission, everything. And then when the pain finally did subdue and I could like get around and maneuver pretty well, I was 100% focused on, okay, I have this baby that I need to take care of, and I've never had a baby 24/7 before. But I will say that the drive, you know, it came back. Like I said, she's 7 months now. I can't pinpoint when it came back. It took a while. And then has it affected our intimacy? I think it has, because if you guys follow our vlogs, which you should, baby girl is not in her room yet. And so we have to be creative with intimacy because she sleeps in between us. And so we're working on that. We have tried to put her in her crib a few times. She doesn't sleep through the night in there, and she doesn't sleep as well when she's in her crib. Obviously, she can sense that she's by herself, but we are working on that, and we do have to just find time to be intimate together. Have anything to add?
We still humping.
Oh my God. Anyway, oh yeah, name Ronnie's sister Ronette. That's my childhood friend's name. Negative. Since everyone wants to know if and when you are getting remarried, we've already answered that. I'm going to ask, we'll try for another baby, and if so, when? So, will we try for another baby, and if so, when? I'll let you answer.
I would like to have them no more than 2 to 3 years apart, just because all of my siblings are 6 to 7 years apart. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of hard for us to have like a closer relationship. So yeah, another one, yes. Hopefully in the next year or two.
Like I said, I'm still coming around to the idea. I do have a brother that's only 1 year younger than me, and then I have twin sisters that are 8 years younger than me, so there was a gap there. But again, we're not as young as a lot of people, you know, who have kids or who were having kids back then. We're in our mid-30s, so I have to keep that in mind as well. And again, that emergency C-section is scarred in my brain, so we will see. But if we were to have another one, I would like to get it over with before, you know, we get too much more older, and before Ray gets too much, you know, more older. So I've been waiting for this for a long time. How many children do you want? This question is not for buttons. Laugh out loud. You guys are such great parents, both of you. It's sweet to see. How many kids do you want?
I said I want 2 at the minimum.
At the minimum?
Yeah, the minimum.
You want more than 2?
I wouldn't go no more than 3, but 2 for sure. 2 for sure.
Oh my God. Okay, well, that question said it wasn't for me, so I can't answer it. I couldn't wait for this, so excited. Business, have you two owned multiple properties? How did you go through the process, sale, and then use the profit for the new house? That's the first one. And then somebody said you have another job. What are you doing? Are you still doing interior design, credit advice, how to get in the government, all of that stuff. So as far as you two have owned multiple properties, how did you go through the process? So a big deal that helped us out was we lived with our parents before we purchased our first home and before we had the big wedding. So we lived with his parents for like 9 months, and then we had we purchased the first townhouse that we had. So that allowed us, and they didn't charge us anything, so that allowed us to save up a lump sum of money to be able to purchase that home and furnish it and do the things that we needed to do. And then we actually purchased that home before we had the wedding. So we got married July 6, 2013, but we purchased the home a year before. And then, fun fact, the day after we went to closing on that first house, he flew off to Boston for new job training for 6 weeks. So we didn't move into the house for 6 weeks, and I still stayed at his parents' house for 6 weeks while he was in Boston. And the minute he got back, we were hiring the U-Haul to move. But that really helped us get started and get out on our feet. And then in between, we purchased the second house. The single family house that we had together was a short sale, so we didn't know how long it was going to take. So we moved in with my parents, and we gave money to help out, but the amount was nowhere near like what you would pay for rent. So that allowed us to save up more money for purchasing furniture and just being comfortable in that home. And it just so happened that it only took 2 months for that closing to come. That was a really quick short sale, so we were only at our parents' house about 2 months. And then we did roll a lot of the money from selling the first townhouse into the single family. Now, when we divorced, we split the proceeds from the sale of the single family house, and I took some of mine and purchased the townhouse, and he took some of his and he purchased what he wanted to purchase. And then when we came back together with this house, we already had individual savings, and then we also had money left over from the sale of that marital home as well. And so we used some of that money to go put down on this house as well. So that's how we did it. You said you have another job. What are you doing now? So I am a tax expert, and I'm just going to leave it at that for a well-known tax company. Are you still doing interior design? I touched on that. Credit advice. Pay your bills on time. Don't incur late fees or anything like that. And don't apply for a lot of stuff back to back to back to back. Like, just be responsible with your credit, your purchases, and your payments. And just building a strong positive payment history will really help your credit, in my opinion. And so you don't want to have a lot of late payments or delinquent payments or missed payments or anything like that. So yeah, that's my advice for that. How to get into government. I really can't give advice on this. I'm a federal contractor, so I don't actually work for the government. I used to, and I just applied and interviewed and got in that way. If you know someone, I hear obviously it's a lot easier to get in, but I don't know. Ronnie, when did you propose to Buttons?
When?
I guess they're asking, like, so we got married in 2013, and so I think he proposed in 2011 because it was like a year and a half in between. But I think they're asking like how, I think, or where, how.
It was in a museum.
Yeah.
It was where we had our first date at.
Yeah. So we met each other through a high school program, us interning in the government for the U.S. Department of Commerce. And right across the street from where that building was, he worked his internship was in a different building in Virginia, and I was in the main commerce building in D.C. But every Friday, all of the interns in the whole program would meet at the D.C. location. And obviously, there's a lot of museums, Smithsonians and stuff in D.C. And there was one right across the street from the commerce building, and so we would go walk through there and just talk and stuff like that. We had our first kiss there, and so he took us back there years later, and that's where he proposed. How did you know she was the one, and will you propose again?
Yes, I will propose again. Mm-hmm. How do you know she's the one? I don't know how to answer that question.
Because we were kids when we like.
Just that everybody think it's like. Well, I guess people had some feeling like, oh, I just know this person is the one, and I don't know. Like, I can't.
Well, you have to feel different about that person to make you want to go
that
far. But I see what you're saying.
We loved each other and stuff like that. But how can I tell like somebody how they gonna know something like for them? I mean, what I can say is I just loved her deeply. Is the best way I could put it. And I knew that I wanted to be with her and with nobody else, and that was simple enough for me. But for how you to tell who right for you, time, man.
Yeah.
Time. That's the best way I can tell you. Time.
And when he proposed, I think we were like 24 and a half. So from 16 to 24, like we had been dating off and on for a very long time. So we had that time of like getting to know each other. But yet we were still very young when we got married. And so if you look at us then at 24 and now at 34, I feel like you're going to see different people, So it just, it depends. Let's see. Ronnie, when y'all separated, what did you learn about yourself and Buttons to make you want to get back together? We already answered that. And Buttons, how has your relationship grown, communication and stuff like that? We've already touched on that. How long were you and Ronnie back together before y'all got pregnant? So we really weren't like back together in a committed relationship. We really never had that conversation at all, period. I think it was just a mutual understanding. I would say we were taking vacations and going on trips and stuff like that the summer before I found out I was pregnant. I found out I was pregnant December 5th of 2019. And we were going on trips and stuff that summer of 2019. I would say a solid like month. We went on trips since the summertime, but I would say a solid month before I found out we were pregnant, we were like together every single day. Like every night, either we were at his place or we were at my place. Before then, it was like, you know, on the weekends, sometimes during the week, we would go on trips together, and it was like we were just having fun with each other. There was no, you know, relationship title or anything like that. But I would say about a month before I found out I was pregnant, maybe around my birthday time, is when we started actually like spending every single day together. I still don't think it was an actual conversation we had that, okay, we're in a committed relationship now, but it was like every day, and it was a constant. You can add to it if you want.
No.
Okay. What are the colors of your wedding? Again, I haven't really thought about that. Like, I'm not big into having another wedding. We had a beautiful, huge wedding before in 2013, and so I still have those memories as well. But if we do decide to do like a small ceremony or something, it won't be big at all. I don't know what colors it would be, and honestly, I don't even want to think about that because I can't even fathom the thought of thinking about a dress and colors and all that. It would literally have to be something where it's like a one-stop shop for everything.
What's the color of rebirth?
The color of rebirth. Isn't it purple? I don't know.
Should be something like that though.
I don't know. Maybe. That's a good idea. Was Ronnie pretending to be Jimmy on the lives? Just kidding. So, so I used to do when I was at the townhouse by myself, I would do live sessions, and there was always, most of my audience is women, but it was always one man named Jimmy who would always be in there commenting all the time, and he would be cracking us up. And so she was asking, was that you all along pretended to be Jimmy? So that wasn't it wasn't him. Okay, you have 2 jobs. What are they? So my first job is I am an attorney for, a contract attorney for the federal government. That's what I meant to say. And then my second job, like I said, is a part-time job. It's only seasonal. I won't be doing it that long because it is a lot. But I'm a tax expert for a well-known tax company. And what does Ronnie do for a living?
I work in IT.
I'm glad you two rekindle, but pray marriage is in your future. Okay. Buttons is the second job to help with the renovations for the wedding this summer. The second job is definitely to help with the renovations because we decided we didn't want to touch certain funds of ours for the renovations. And so I just thought this was an easy way to make extra money and put towards us getting the dream kitchen and the dream home that we wanted. And we kind of are going to switch off as far as doing the extra jobs and the extra income and stuff like that. So we're going to keep it, you know, manageable. Right now I'm doing this, like I said, it's seasonal, and then, you know, he'll pick up extra work and, you know, overtime and stuff like that. So all that stuff factors in, and it's extra cash, and, you know, it's very expensive. So, okay. Love your channel. I think someone has already asked this question, but was just wondering, when did you and Ronnie get back together, and if you two got remarried? We already answered that. Has getting back together made each other stronger? We answered that. Are you still seeing your therapist in any capacity? So I stopped seeing my therapist when I was basically on watch to have Reagan, and she usually tells her clients to you know, start setting up initial appointments again 6 to 8 weeks after birth. And then 6 to 8 weeks after birth, it was on my calendar to do so. And we were moving, we were packing, and I just haven't reached back out. That is something I think about it at least once a week. I need to do it. And so, but I think, so she's not taking in-person patients anymore or visits anymore, and so she's only doing, I think she's still doing virtual visits. I think she had started that while I was on maternity leave, and so I have to decide if that's the route I want to take, because I actually did enjoy the in-person visits. So I have to decide on if I'm okay with the virtual visits and, you know, going back to therapy that way. But it is something that I want to continue because I actually really like therapy and I recommend it. Hi, spring and summer is around the corner. Any plans for decor updates and gardening for your home? So Ronnie actually just cut down some of the bushes in the front of the house last weekend because they were encroaching on our, walkway space up to the front of the house. But some of the things we want to do to the front of the house is to change the lights on the house in the front. We want to add shutters because our home doesn't have shutters. I don't know why, because all the other homes in the neighborhood have shutters. Maybe the old owners just took them down. But we want to add shutters. I would love to get a new front door with the glass insert. I love that. And then he had talked about maybe hiring a landscaper to kind of come up with a plan for the landscaping in the front of the house. And I know another thing we are really interested in is uplighting and downlighting on the front of the house. So you can talk about. Oh, and eventually you can tell them what we want to do in the back.
Oh yeah, we're gonna put a patio and probably extend the deck out there. I'll probably do it myself.
Are you and Ronnie open to any sorts of couples counseling? So we actually have done couples counseling in the past. I was a bigger proponent of it than him. I'm not opposed to it. I think having a tune-up every now and then is nothing wrong with that. So
I'm not a real big counseling person, but I know that Antoinette enjoys counseling, communicating her emotions. So I do it for that reason. But me, I'm kind of doing my stuff internally.
Okay, happy Valentine's Day, Ronnie. You're the man. Bless you and your family. If you haven't watched our Valentine's Day vlog, go ahead and you'll see, what we did for Valentine's Day. Both of you have part-time jobs now. What are your jobs? We already talked about that. How come you guys divorced? We talked about that. Can we get some home projects, vlogs from Ronnie's point of view? You guys, it is so hard to get this man on camera. 1 minute he's all for, the next minute he don't feel like fooling with the camera. So I don't know if he's going to be recording any vlogs for you guys, but you should see him in the vlogs while I'm recording them. And I am recording the home projects. If you don't follow us, follow me on Instagram. It's myhouse_myhome, and for him it's Mr.myhouse_myhome_, because that is where we share a lot about what's going on in the home and stuff, and the renovations and the updates in real time. So if you don't follow us, I'll have our Instagrams down below in the description box, but go check us out on Instagram because they get it first. Out of all your vacation adventures, what is your favorite place? And this is a question for both of you guys. Jamaica. I would say Jamaica too. I was going to say Jamaica too. We honeymooned there, and then we went back there in 2019 with our friends on a friends trip in celebration of my best friend Brittany's 10-year wedding anniversary, and we had a blast both times. But I absolutely loved our honeymoon. Okay. Let's see. How did you two get past trust while getting back together, and how are you handling it now? That's one of the things you put on the window. How did you two get past the trust when you were getting back together, and how are you handling it now?
I guess if you're going to come back in a relationship with somebody, I guess the best thing I can say is don't do it if you're going to bring the old issues back into it. I understand, like, you can forgive, but you can never forget. But in that case, you might want to forget to try to start over. Because if you keep bringing up the same stuff or whatever your issues was before and not really giving each other a new slate, it's just going to cause more drama. So that's what I say as far as some advice. Like, just don't bring it old. Remember, you're starting something new again. It's the same person, but you're starting a whole new relationship again. Just keep it like that.
And if change hasn't happened, then it's not time for you. Like, I guess you have to find out, so you got to test the waters. But if you see it's the same person doing the same exact thing and nothing has changed, then it's going to be harder for you to get past whatever trust issues you have. But also, as we got older, like, nobody has time to waste as far as checking up on that person and checking into everything that person, like, nobody has time for that. Nobody wants to live their life like that. And so you just have to know the individual that you're dealing with, and if that was an issue in the past, like how that person has changed and what they're actually doing to move past those types of things.
To being more comfortable with yourself and knowing what you want. So
can I come to the wedding? Sure, you can come to the wedding. Hi Buttons, will you and Ronnie be remarrying? We answered that. No questions, just ready for you to decorate your beauty room in your office. Yes, that is coming. It's not on the high priority list because I'm trying to do the areas of the house where everybody uses first, and with the exception of our daughter's room, we did that one first. But you know, it's gonna come eventually, so stay tuned. Ronnie, how often do you get to enjoy riding your motorcycle?
Actually, not that often since Ray's been born, but you know,
In the
hopefully
wintertime happen too.
in the wintertime happen. But every now and then, like I just hop on it and go for a ride. But you know, springtime coming up, summer coming up, so hopefully I'll be able to get back on the bike more often.
Okay, and I hope I don't have to split this into two videos, but it's already an hour long, so I may have to. I'm going to start skipping past the redundant questions. But this one says, hey Buttons, I have no questions for you and Ronnie. All I have to say is that I'm so happy you two are back together and blessed with baby girl, and I wish you all the best. And I think y'all are already remarried, but we're not. Let's see. Was the fact that you guys were together so long part of the reason for your temporary divorce?
I would say together so long and so young.
Yeah, I would say that too, because I just think that the people that we were when we first got together at 16, we were kids. You know, our parents took care of all of our necessities, so it was different. There was no pressure on the relationship. We were just in a different phase of life. And then in our mid-20s or early 30s, we had become different people, and so I felt like we grew apart. And then now in our mid-30s, I just feel like we're more mature and we look at things differently. We have a better understanding of life and how this thing called relationships and marriages work, and it's just different for us now. Hi guys, Reagan's Playroom, is it finished? It looks wonderful from your last videos. I'm loving it. No, it's not finished yet. That's another room that eventually we'll put our dedicated efforts into. But I just wanted to get stuff down there so that when kids come over, I have nieces and nephews and friends' kids and everything. When they come over, they'll have a spot to go, and there's toys and stuff in there for now to keep them occupied, but it's not actually designed yet. You and Ronnie doing keto together and working out. Yes, we are doing keto together. No, we don't barely ever work out because time. You guys, like I said, I'm working a second job in the evenings. He's got Ray, and you know, we work our day jobs during the day. On the weekends, I'm still working the part time. He has Ray, and then we have to go run our errands and do family events and stuff like that. So we haven't really been working out.
It's coming though. We're gonna get there.
And I'm not a big workout person. I hate working out. He says he doesn't hate it, but he doesn't do it that often. But eventually we want to get there. So we are kind of building a home gym, a small one in the basement as well. Who's more romantic? I would say me, because Ronnie is, I think actually he's changing because he planned the whole hiring the chef and doing the dinner in front of the fireplace for Valentine's Day, which I would have never expected him to be able to come up with that idea or plan that. So that was really good. But I think outside of recently, I would say I was the more romantic person, but you can answer.
Yeah, I say she's more romantic. It's just not that I can't be, it's just that I don't be thinking that, like, you know, I'll be focused on taking care of us as a family, and sometimes the romance just fall behind.
Hi guys, how is the Diva and Man Caves coming along with any new decor? So we already touched on this. We haven't really worked on the basement yet. We did get a pool table for him for Christmas, and then, you know, there's a TV down there, and then we put some stuff in the playroom. But outside of that, we haven't really dedicated all of our efforts to the basement project yet. What's y'all's dream vacation location?
Dream vacation? Like my dream, I always wanted to go to Africa, so that's my dream vacation. I always want to go to Africa.
I would like to go to Bora Bora. There's another place that I want to go to. I want to go to Dubai as well. Are you guys going to have the same venue, same bridesmaids? This girl is being funny. It's groomsmen as before, church or commissioner of oaths. So no, it won't be the same venue. We got married at a large hotel in Alexandria, Virginia the first time. So I don't think we're gonna do the hotel thing or the big wedding thing. No bridesmaids, no groomsmen, none of all that other stuff. Like, nah. What does Ronnie do for a living? You already answered that, right? Okay. Buttons. What hair products do you use to get your hair to grow so long and natural? Honestly, I don't use any particular products. I try to keep the products to a minimum, and I try to keep the maintenance of my hair to a minimum. But just to be honest with you guys, there's nothing that I've actually done to make my hair grow longer. I honestly think it's genetics. My mom has hair that's down her back. She has an actual better grade of hair than me, but her hair is down her back, and I don't use any particular products. I try to use, if I am going to wash and, you know, deal with my hair on my own at home, I try to use the paraben and sulfate free products, and then I keep heat to a minimum. So if I do straighten my hair, which I recently have, I'll leave the coupon code to the flat iron that I recently was sent and that I used to straighten my hair this time. But I don't do anything extra to it, and I try to keep the heat to a minimum. So if I do straighten it myself, it's once every, you know, couple of months, if that. When I go get my hair done, I try to keep the heat to a minimum, so it's once every 6 to 8 weeks. Honestly, I don't do much to it at all. Hey Bubba, Ronnie, and Ray, I don't have a question for you all, but enjoy reading all that are listed. I'm going to say this: life's journey has many different routes. Some y'all will understand, and some you won't. The fact that y'all got back together after a divorce says a lot about both of y'all. That being said, there's definitely a strong chemistry between y'all. I pray that whatever becomes of y'all's relationship will be a blessing to all three of you guys. Stay blessed, be safe, and thanks for sharing. Like I always say, you're awesome. Thank you. How did you find out you were expecting? Was it a surprise, or were you planning it? So this will go into the video where we sit down and we tell how we found out. I basically missed my cycle, and we were at his place, so we just went to CVS, and I wasn't really expecting it to come back positive, but I was just like, it's been a while, like, where is my cycle? And I kept feeling like my cycle was coming. I was having the symptoms, but it just never came, and it was like weeks, and I was like, okay, why am I still feeling this way? So we finally took a test, and it came back positive, but I'll go more into that story when we do, you know, post that video. Was it a surprise, or were you planning it? Like I said, I wasn't expecting the test to come back positive, and he definitely wasn't either, because I was like, I think we should go get a test. He was like, oh, you ain't pregnant or whatever, but he did, you know, we did go get one. But I wouldn't say that we were actually planning it. We weren't preventing it, I'll say that, but we weren't actually planning, like, to have a baby when we had a baby. Like, we wasn't planning like that, but we just weren't being proactive about preventing it. Do you have any plans to travel outside of the country this year for vacations? Yes, we would love to go on a vacation. We actually have one in the works for August of this year as well, and also a getaway as well, and coming up sooner in the spring. Buttons, are you wearing extensions? No, I've actually never worn extensions. I do get braids sometimes, but outside of that, I've never worn extensions. This is my natural hair. And I've cut it, went natural. I've cut it more than once actually. But no, this is my natural hair. Again, my mom has really long hair. Hey girly, have you thought about you and Ronnie doing a cook with me video? Thanks. Now I did post a cook with us video for the Super Bowl. So I replied to her letting her know that, but I have gotten a couple more people who've asked, are we going to do more cooking together and record it? So that's something, if you guys are interested, we definitely can do that, because we're about to get a whole new kitchen. Like I said, the renovation is starting in about a week, and so that is something that we can do for you guys if you're interested. Are you Washington football team / Redskins or Ravens fan? My husband and I are from the DMV, but we live in Atlanta. I love your channel, Buttons, and I've always been watching you since your DIY projects with the first house, and love you guys. So I don't know who I'm a fan of, honestly. I'm not a big football fan. My family is diehard Redskins, but Ronnie does not like the Redskins. Who do you like?
Cowboys.
Ronnie's a Dallas Cowboys fan, so there you have it. Yeah. That's another one. Do you plan on recording more cooking videos? Once we get the new kitchen, I think that would be awesome. So yeah, we can do more cooking videos if that's what you guys want to see. Do you use your maiden name or your married name now? I never changed my name back to my maiden name, A lot of the reason was I had just gotten a new passport, and I really was not trying to get another one and go through that process. So I was in a wedding in the Dominican Republic right before our court date for our divorce. And fun fact, I had to reschedule the court date for the divorce until after the wedding because it was literally during the time I was supposed to be gone. And in order to go to the wedding, I had to get a brand new passport, and because I hadn't changed my name before that, I had to get the new passport in my married name. And so when we came back and we got the divorce, I still had a 10-year passport. So I was like, eventually I'll get around to it, but it wasn't something that I needed to rush to do. And so I still use my married last name, and now it just worked out because now all of us have the same last name, and when we do get remarried, I won't have to worry about changing my name again. Another reason was it was a hassle trying to change my name with the federal government and my job and stuff like that. And so once everything was squared away, I was like, I do not feel like going through that again right now. So it was just something that was just put on the back burner, and I never really thought about it anymore. It was something that I knew eventually I would have to come around to doing, but I was in no rush to do it. And he didn't really press me out about, you need to change your name right now. So okay. Hello, happy family. Most of your comments talk about getting remarried again. Personally, y'all have been blessed to be in each other's lives and a beautiful baby girl. So with that being said, y'all should go to the courthouse and say I will again and get another marriage certificate. This is your second gorgeous home, and I'm sure the first wedding was gorgeous as well. Just a thought, what do you think? However, I'm still a ride or die fan regardless. I think I remembered you saying you and Ronnie had to go to the courthouse during the move to the new house. Guess what? It's solved. Y'all already married. We're not already married. I don't think we'll do the courthouse thing, but maybe, or maybe we'll go to the courthouse. We did talk about doing it on the same day, so we won't have to have two different anniversary dates. But so maybe we will have to go to the courthouse, and then, if we go on a vacation or something, we can actually have like the small ceremony there. But we'll see. I don't know. Can Ronnie tell us what's your love language? Buttons, what's Ronnie's love language? Ronnie has never actually read the book, The 5 Love Languages, so he probably don't know what we are talking about here. But my love language is definitely quality time and words of affirmation. So there's 5 love languages. He's not familiar with them, so that went over his head. I would say his is physical touch, and I don't know, maybe gifts. I don't know, honestly, because he hasn't read the book, so he can't vouch for what his is. So yeah. Do you guys want more children? We've answered that. Where we meet, I've also answered that. Can you do a couples workout video? Girl, that would be a hot mess, okay? We are not in shape, and we ain't ready to be teaching nobody how to do no exercises. Who's older?
I'm older, a couple months.
Yeah.
We're pretty much the same age though.
Yeah, so he's 2 months older than me. We answered the kids thing. Who cooks better?
Me. And Antoinette cooks everything that can be warmed up.
I cook sometimes, but he does cook. I would say he cooks meats better than me. But he also grills a lot, so I don't know if that even counts really. Like, he's not in the kitchen, like, cooking, but his meats are definitely better than mine. Let's see. Hey fam, are there wedding bells coming in the future? Will you still be taking clients? I answered that. And then, how does it feel to be first-time parents of Princess Reagan?
It's an enjoyable experience. Blast, man.
Yeah. It's still surreal to me. Like, sometimes I wake up and I look at her like, oh my God, we have a baby. Like, this is our baby. She's still our baby. Every day she's here. So it's surreal, but it's a wonderful experience. It's a blessing to watch her grow, and it's happening so fast in front of our eyes. Like, homegirl is about to be on the floor moving around, like really walking and crawling and everything. And I just can't believe that we are at this stage already. Like I said, it's been 7 months and it does not feel like it at all, but I definitely feel like it's a blessing. When the gym is completed, will y'all be doing videos? I've already answered that. Who loves to cook more, you or Ronnie? I do not enjoy cooking at all. I don't really think Ronnie likes to cook, but I don't know.
Especially if it's about to do something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's all of the questions. Yeah. I think that's all of the questions. So thanks so much, you guys, for leaving questions. We'll have to do this again. Maybe every few months we'll do a Q&A because there's new questions coming out. Our lives are changing, and then we're having new subscribers and stuff. But I think that's all the questions that we had in the Q&A video on YouTube. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.